Hey, what's up everybody? So I have been uploading videos to YouTube for about 11 years now, maybe a little bit longer, although the very first couple of videos I actually deleted those. But I've been looking through some of my really old ones, the ones that are about 10 years ago. And there is this one that it says Japanese calligraphy tutorial, writing the kanji for emptiness. And then what I realized is that my calligraphy was really bad at the time. I'm looking at the character right now and yeah, it's not good. So lately, one of the things that I'm doing a lot for my students is correcting their assignments that they do for my classes. So they have to write a character or two, whatever the exemplar is, and I have to correct it and send it back to them with feedback. So I thought that it would be really good to correct one of my old calligraphies that looked very much like a student who's starting, because that was me also starting calligraphy 10 years ago. So I'm gonna try to find that one from that video. I know I have it somewhere here in the studio, and I'm going to correct it the same way I correct assignments for my students. Actually, I have been practicing Japanese calligraphy for 25 years, but it wasn't until about 10 or 15 years ago that I got really serious about it and started doing this whole YouTube thing. So with all those years of creating different pieces and practice pieces and some finished pieces, I still haven't really come up with a very good organization system to archive or save a lot of my pieces. So they're everywhere and it's really hard to find. But to find one from that time over 10 years ago, it's got to be in this thing here, which is it's kind of like an art portfolio or something like that. And I know I threw a bunch of my really early ones in here from the time when I started YouTube. So I'm gonna see if it's in here. Unfortunately, a lot of these pieces, they're all really bad and they're not in very good condition, but I haven't thrown them out because I don't know. Okay, let's see. Let's see. It's gotta be in here somewhere. I know it's in this pile. Where is it? Yeah. Oy. These are all really old. Most of them were, oh, there it is. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yep. This is it. I knew it was here. I know I should organize this, but not today. So, pile up and back to where it was. Okay, so here I have the original, which I wrote using a really crappy piece of hanshi. It's Daiso Japan, like dollar store quality. You can see it's really wrinkled. But anyways, what I would do is I would correct the piece right in the paper. But I don't want to have like red marks all over this one. I know it's not, I know it's a bad piece, and I'm probably not gonna do anything with it. But I don't want to have red marks all over it. So what I'm gonna do is make a photocopy. So here's the photocopy, and I'll do the red marks on the photocopy. All right, so here we go. One thing I'll point out before I start is I'm using Sumi ink, but it's a red ink. Well, it looks more like orange. But we do that so that you can see the correction stroke over the original one, which is the black one. Now, there is a lot wrong in this character, but just like the same way we do with students is that we don't correct everything because it can be discouraging. Like, like everything is wrong. So this, every stroke is wrong. So we don't really do that. Instead, I kind of focus on some basic strokes or some composition that is really important that definitely throws the character off. In this case, there is two problems here. One is that the style of this character is not really one that I do currently. So there's a couple stylistic differences here to the one that I would do today or the one that I would teach today. So I'll point those out. And then the other one is some of the basic strokes are a little bit off. So I'll point those out as well. Okay, so one of the let's start with the stylistic differences. So this is Kaisho, which is block script, but it kind of have a little bit of a semi-cursive feel to it, and that's not quite how we do things right now. So if it's Kaisho, it's Kaisho. If it's Gyosho, it's Gyosho. So in this case, for the Kaisho, we would not leave this empty space here. This line needs to start inside or touching, not inside, just touching the dot. Okay, so we wouldn't leave this space here. So red ink here, I would say no space. Okay, and then another one is this stroke here, finishing going up. That's right. This little tip here, that's a no. It needs to stop right there. And this stroke is a regular horizontal line, but I'll point that one out. Anyway, so let's start with stroke number one. Stroke number one actually doesn't look too bad. That's a pretty decent sized dot, and it has a good 45-degree angle, and it's coming down to the right length. The only problem, well, it's not only problem, but one problem is that it's not finishing inside this line. There's this gap here, and there's this gap here, right? So that stroke needs to be inside this line. So we'll do like this, okay, all the way inside. So let me, I'll put this out for a minute, but because, so it needs to be, okay, long enough so that this other line is inside. Okay, so there is no gap at all. So the stroke is, come on, it's like this, and then inside this line. Okay, the one that I'm correcting right now, the one I did 10 years ago, it's like this. So it's not quite inside the line, so that's why you see there's a gap over there. Okay? All right, so again, this is copy paper, so it's not absorbing the Sumi ink very well, so I'm just gonna tap it. All right. Okay, now this line, stroke number, this is number one. Stroke number two, stroke number two, which is this, it's not too bad. Okay, it's not too bad. The dot, kind of this line going to the left, it's okay. It has a little bit of a blob end to it, so we like to see more of a stop. Okay, more like this. So this is just lack of control of ink. But it's not too bad. And then stroke number three, that one is problematic because again, it's kaisho, so it should be nice and straight, not curvy like semi-cursive or gyosho would be. So this needs to be straight. Okay, so again, probably a little bit hard to see on the copy paper, but we use hanshi. Okay, this stroke needs to be straight. And then stop and hane. Okay, so the one that I did was more like this. So we don't want to have this curve. Okay, we want it to be nice and straight, and then hane going inside, which is, oh, that looks okay. All right, so this is good. That's not good. So you can see, right, it has that curve. So no curve. Okay, straight and inside. This is then stroke number 4. I'm gonna just name it 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right? 8 strokes. Okay, so stroke number 4 is actually not bad. This is probably 1 and 4, probably the best one. This one is just a little too long, I would say. Just needed to kind of end right here. It doesn't have quite a good tip, but that stroke is okay. So when something like that, which is okay, it's not too bad, we just don't do anything to it. We just leave it like that. Or sometimes I make a circle, and that means that's good. Okay, so then this one, yeah, this one is problematic. It has too much of a curve going this way, and it's not supposed to go up like that. So it should be just here, down, and to the side, and stop. Okay, so again, just so that you can see a little bit better here. Okay, so right now it looks something like this, kind of going down, and for some reason, and then it just has like this little tip going like that. Again, not correct. What we like to do now is just down and to the side and stop. Okay. All right, let's see. Stroke number 7. Yeah, so this one has the biggest problem here is that it's tilted. This whole section, okay, this whole section is tilted like this. It's kind of going in this direction. It needs to be straight, okay? Now, this is the center line, okay, which is okay for the most part, following the center line. But this is off center and it's like tilted this way. So it just needs to be straight. And number 7 should be a regular horizontal line. And then, 6, then 7. And then 8 should be like this. Okay, so keeping it nice and straight. So let me get a new piece of hanshi for this. Okay, so it should be 1. This one does go up a little bit. 2. And 3. So this one does go up, and this one goes like this. Okay, and then straight on the center line. And as you can see, right, first of all, this also should line up this way, okay, which doesn't do here because this lines up, but this is way too long, right? This went way too long. This needed to be cut, just like I did, needed to be cut around here. Also, Tony, I'll point this out in a minute, but this is way too long, and then it needs to be straight like this, okay? This space here is too tight too. This needs to be a little bit more open, okay? And this ending here of the horizontal line, I mean, the beginning is not bad. You got that tip 45, but the ending is not good, right? We need to practice the stop shape where the bristles are up here on the top of the line, okay, and then stops, right? And then that's why the bristles has a little bump. That's where the tip of the brush is. The tip of the brush on the top of the line, stop, and then lift. So there you have it. I corrected my calligraphy from 10 years ago. Not that much different from how I do it today with my students. Probably not as much markings. I don't do that many markings. Usually just a couple strokes here and there, and maybe some notes on what to focus on. But I wanted to be a little more thorough for this video. Now, I think it's only appropriate that I redeem myself and rewrite this character the proper way. This time, I'm going to be using much better quality hanshi. Alright, here are side by side. Man, what a difference, huh? I can say I've gotten a little bit better in 10 years. Alright, thanks for watching everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video of me correcting my own work from 10 years ago. If you're interested in learning the basics of Japanese calligraphy, check my Introduction to Japanese Calligraphy online course. The link is in the description down below. That's it for this one, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.